Today we're going to be ranking some of the greatest MMA commentators in the entire sport. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels and welcome back to another tier list, everybody. So, like I said, we're going to be ranking commentators today and it is throughout the entirety of MMA, and I understand not every single commentator, not nearly every single commentator is on here. I just put the commentators that I believe I have seen enough of to have a good gauge of, and there's some commentators that have been forgettable, ones that I have been before my time. Those commentators I am not including on here. And one more thing, I do believe that throughout this entire list, there are no bad commentators, so the tier list looks a little bit different. We're going to go S, A, and B. It's going to be a very close call. I do like every single one of these commentators. So, with that being said, let's get started with Dan Hardy. I feel like, okay, here's the problem. I have to compare them all to each other, right? Dan Hardy is great. There's so many commentators on here that are great. Dan Hardy breaks down fights almost like nobody else. He's so, it's funny how, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but I feel like it's so funny to me how fighters who have such intellect when it comes to dissecting the sport, and they haven't been able to really have too much success in the cage. I always find that a little bit weird because Dan Hardy, when he speaks about fighting, obviously the dude knows what he's talking about. And it's not just like, oh my god, he knows what he's talking about. He's fantastic at what he does. I love listening to Dan Hardy's breakdowns. Is he an S tier though? I might rearrange some things over here, but I will put Dan Hardy, of course, into the A tier. Now, Kyle Brauchel, he's been doing a lot of work over in the LFA. The problem is, and this is no fault to him, but there's still a little bit more work that needs to be done with the language barrier. He does a great job. He does a great job for so far, and like he's been improving every single time that I see him. So he's a good commentator. He's just not stacking up to the rest just yet, but I really enjoy what he's been doing in LFA. I'm going to throw Kyle Brauchel into the B tier. Now, Cub Swanson, also doing a little bit of work over in the LFA, and I got to say, man, I really liked what I've seen from Cub Swanson. I'm going to try not to be biased because Cub Swanson's one of my favorite fighters of all time, and it was a pleasure to start seeing him commentate over in the LFA, but I don't think he stacks up to anybody that would be into the S tier, so I'm going to put Cub Swanson into the A tier as well. Now, Michael Chiesa, again, been seeing work over in the LFA, and he's been commentating in other aspects of the sport. I think that Michael Chiesa is fantastic. I love the commentating that I've seen from Michael Chiesa. He is absolutely going into the S tier. Absolutely. He's great at what he does. Now, Michael Bisping. Guys, Michael Bisping is a very, very interesting commentator because he's not as by the book as like somebody like John Anik. He's not like Dan Hardy. He's very good at what he does. He's very good at commentating, breaking down the fights, but he's very different. And I think it's different in a good way. I know a lot of people dislike Michael Bisping in his commentary, but there are so many events where Michael Bisping makes me laugh. He makes me laugh. I enjoy what he's talking about. I enjoy the banter between him, Daniel Cormier, Joe Rogan, whenever they're on. I really do enjoy Michael Bisping's commentary. And I'm going to throw him to the A tier. I'm going to throw him in front of Dan Hardy. I really, really do like Michael Bisping. Now, this one's going to hurt, man. This one's going to hurt. Mike Goldberg. I miss him so much. I miss him so much, guys. I really, really do. There is nothing like hearing a MMA fight with "Here we go" or "It is all over." Like Kyle Brauchel is the undisputed UFC champion of the world. Like there is just something to Mike Goldberg and his work. I love it. He is absolutely in the S tier. I'm going to throw him in front of Michael Chiesa. He is the best commentator we've taken a look at so far. Now, Uriah Faber. I like Uriah Faber, and don't get me wrong, I feel so bad putting people into the B tier, but I will be throwing Uriah Faber into the B tier. Like, there's nothing that really stands out about him. He's just a very good commentator, and it's important to note, like, this is S, A, and B. These are all really, really good things. Just comparing him to everybody, Uriah Faber's going to go in the B tier. Now, John Anik, guys, well, what can I say, man? What can I say? He's perfect at everything he does. Reactions, breaking down fights, giving fun facts, talking about what's going on. He's good at color commentary as well. Like, he's fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic. Okay. Do I like him more than Goldberg? Because he's better than Chiesa, right? He's better than Chiesa. Man, this is a toughie. I feel like I have to put Anik in front of Goldberg. I do. I just have to, right? Now, Joe Rogan. A lot of people have been really hating on Joe Rogan's commentary as of late. And I don't personally find it annoying at all. I love Joe Rogan. I love seeing his reactions. The problem is he is getting very repetitive. Like, the problem is this isn't the Joe Rogan. Like, the Joe Rogan that was commentating with Mike Goldberg wasn't the same Joe Rogan. I don't know what it is, but like, you know the memes where it's like, people forget, man. People forget, man. Oh my God, you do not want to go to the ground with this guy. And then he gets pounded out, right? Like, the memes are accurate. What everybody's saying about Joe Rogan is accurate. But at the end of the day, it's just, Joe Rogan brings that extra little hype to each UFC event that he's at. And I enjoy seeing him. I like Joe Rogan's commentary a lot, but I am going to throw Joe Rogan into the B tier. I'm going to throw him in front of Cub Swanson. That's where I'm going to throw him. Now, Kenny Florian, guys. Oh, I'm ready for the comment section, man. I miss Kenny Florian commentating because I believe, as of right now, he's the best commentator. Kenny Florian just might be my favorite commentator of all time. We'll see. These are really, really hard to stack up, but like John Anik, man, he can do everything. He was entertaining, factual. I loved Kenny Florian's commentary, and I really, really miss him. I wish he would get back and doing it to the UFC. Now, Laura Sanko, interesting one, because it's the only woman we have. She is good at what she does. She is a fan of the sport, and I know that a lot of people talk about just UFC putting on a pretty face. I disagree with that. She knows what she's talking about, and she's good at what she does. I don't think that she stacks up to anybody nearly in the S tier. I think she's better than the B tier. I'm going to put her into the low A tier. Okay, that's where I'm going to put her. Now, Boss Rutan. Guys, Boss Rutan's a great commentator. He's kind of like Michael Bisping, but better. He has that humor that Michael Bisping brings. He can make you laugh through the entire thing. And it's like I said, man, it's Michael Bisping, but better. He can break down everything analytically, and he's just an all-around pleasure to listen to whenever he's on the microphone. So I'm going to throw Boss Rutan into the beginning of the A tier over here. Now, Robin Black. Okay. Nobody brings passion to the game like Robin Black. Nobody loves martial arts more than Robin Black does. I really do believe that. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, though. I don't know why. I can't throw him into the S tier. I can't put my finger on it. If anybody watches Robin Black, please let me know down below if you feel the same way. When Robin Black shows up, I don't get nearly as excited as if I were to see these four over here. But Robin Black is a fantastic commentator, breaking down tape, breaking down fights, talking about the fighters, and just a genuine desire to see two amazing fighters go at it. That's something that I share when I watch a sport, so his passion really, really radiates through the screen, and I enjoy watching it. But I am going to throw Robin Black into the low A tier. That's where I'm going to be throwing Robin Black. Now, Paul Felder. Guys, Paul Felder's in the S tier. Absolutely, he's in the S tier, 1,000%. He's good at everything. I feel like I'm saying that for a lot of people over in the S tier, and I'm sorry, but that's really how I feel. I'm gonna put him behind Kenny Florian. Paul Felder, Kenny Florian, these are two fantastic commentators. I love what Paul Felder does. I get excited every single time that I see him on here. Let's keep going on, though, to Mitch Chilson. Guys, if you don't know, and I promise you with all of my heart, I'm not being biased. One Championship is my favorite organization, and he is one of the reasons for it. Mitch is just like Kenny, just like Paul. He can do everything. He brings the hype. He gets excited. He's a genuine fan of the sport. The interviews are great. I think he's awesome. I'm absolutely throwing him into the S tier. But the question is, do I put him in front of Paul Felder? Oh, this is so tough. This whole S tier is so tough. It's so tough. Oh, Mitch or Paul? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? If it could be even, it would be. If it could be even. Guys, I'm going to throw him in front of Paul Felder. Oh boy, I can feel the comments coming on this one, man. I really can feel the comments coming on this one. Now, Rich Franklin. Rich Franklin, I don't have a ton to say about him, to be honest. He's just a decent commentator. I don't even want to say decent. He's a good commentator. He just doesn't exactly stand out. I'm going to throw him at the beginning of B tier. That's where I'm going to throw him. Now, we have Ron Crook, the lead commentator over at LFA. He's very good at what he does, man. Very, very good at what he does. I'm gonna throw him in the B tier. I think I'm gonna put him right in front of Cub Swanson. I think that's a good placement for him. There's nothing that stands out. He's just a very good commentator. Now let's continue on over to Brendan Fitzgerald. And guys, like I said, man, there's nothing really too much to say about him. He's just a good commentator. So I am gonna throw Brendan into the B tier. I'm gonna have him run the B tier over here though. So moving on, Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen is so charismatic. He's funny. He knows what he's talking about. He breaks down wrestling like none other. Maybe just like Daniel Cormier. Those two have really, really great strengths about them. So it's just the problem is whenever Chael is on the mic, he's so captivating. And that's only something with somebody with the mic skills that Chael Sonnen can do. But it's not just Chael Sonnen putting on a persona like he has been throughout his fights. He is a very, very good commentator. I love what he does. Chael Sonnen is going to go in the S tier. He takes the humor of Boss Rutan and Michael Bisping and takes it up a notch. Chael Sonnen makes me laugh, makes me think. He's a very great commentator. But I will be throwing him at the bottom of S tier. I think he's a fantastic commentator. Absolutely fantastic, but that's where I'm going to be throwing him, okay? So continuing on to Daniel Cormier. DC's a great commentator. I love the way that he breaks down wrestling. I know a lot of people really don't like DC and his commentating. I disagree completely. I think he's great at what he does. He can do everything. He can do absolutely everything. So DC, I don't think he's in the S tier. I think he is at the top of A tier. That's where I'm going to be throwing DC. In front of Boss Rutan, he's going to be running the A tier. Now, I do need to move my webcam. Apologies for that, guys. I'll just throw it down right there. Let's continue on over to Dominic Cruz. Here's the problem with Dominic Cruz, okay? Sometimes he's the best commentator, and sometimes I sit back and I'm kind of like, shut up, Cruz. That's how I feel about Dominic Cruz. So I feel like that knocks him down a peg. But when he's on, the technical breakdown is fantastic. The commentary is perfect. The only thing that bothers me about Dominic Cruz is he can't help but be salty. You know? Oh, good on that ref for allowing him the opportunity to be a warrior, allowing him for the opportunity to fight back because he's still upset about the Henry Cejudo loss. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous the grudges that he holds on like you have a job to do, dude. But sometimes there are fight nights where he shows up and he's the best commentator. So that's the problem I have with Dominic Cruz. It's not even a problem that I have. I think he's great at what he does. And he can be funny. Like him and Bisping together were hilarious. They've been recently started doing that. I like the way they bounce off of each other. I'm going to throw Dominic Cruz. I'm going to throw him in the A tier. But I don't know, man. I'm going to throw him in front of Michael Bisping. That's where I'm going to throw Dominic Cruz. Now, Brian Stan, haven't seen too much commentary from him, but from what I have seen, Brian Stan's a solid commentator. I'm going to throw him right behind Brendan Fitzgerald over here. Let's continue on to Rashad Evans, doing a little bit of work over at LFA. I like it a lot. But there isn't anything that really screams out to me. So I will be throwing Rashad into the B tier as well. I'm actually going to throw him in front of Brian Stan. Now, John McCarthy. I love John McCarthy. I love his commentary. I love it. The way he breaks things down, his reffing experience coming into the play, it brings for a unique perspective. And I just like John McCarthy, man. But I'm trying not to keep my bias in front of everybody. I'm going to throw John McCarthy into the S tier. I'm going to throw him at the bottom S tier. That's where I'm going to throw him. I think that Chaels does a little bit better of a job than him, but he is still better than everybody else. So, lastly, we have John Gooden. Another solid commentator. Kind of fits in with Brendan. There's nothing too special about him, and I'm going to just honestly throw him right there with him, except I do like Brendan just a little bit more. So, guys, that is going to be my tier list for every MMA commentator. Well, not every single one, but you get the point. The ones that I feel like I had something good to say about them. Apologies about the S tier because, hey, these guys can do everything. You know, there's just something to it. I highly suggest you check out some of these other commentators, like Michael Chiesa. He's been doing a lot of great work. Kyle Barajo has been doing fantastic work. It's important to note again, guys, that the people in the B tier, they're still fantastic at what they do. S, A, and B. There's no C tier commentator. I think they're all, at the very least, very good at what they do. Let me know what you think about this down below. I'm prepared for so many people to disagree with me. For example, liking Michael Bisping's commentary and putting Kenny Florian at the top. I just think he's the best commentator we've ever had. I really do believe that. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you very, very much for watching. While you're waiting, though, check out one video at the screen right now. At the top, YouTube thinks you like that one the best, but at the bottom, you can check out a tier list about my favorite moments in MMA history, guys. I will see you in one of those videos. Take care.